those of you who might have been expecting me to play the empty turnabout? Not quite yet, because this is working again. So let's finish Ace Prosecutor Zero first. Okay. I believe this is Whitney's cross-examination? It's been a while. Mr. Roger, you said you're a ranger, aren't you? I'm a tough ranger, man. Not to brag, but I'm pretty good with my job. If I'm not mistaken, you said you scour parks and forests. Yep. We help living things and we fight every kind of crime. But the crime scene isn't in a park or a forest. Wait, it's not? How did we not know that? There are no other means to say it. The crime scene isn't in a park or in a forest. Now that I think about it, I don't even have a photograph of the crime scene. How could the detective forget such a detail? Well, Mr. Roger, what were you doing in the city? Don't you know rangers can scour some areas of the city? Anyways, I really scoured that area. 60 minutes, 10 laps. Who can confirm you really did it? Do you have a witness or evidence? Not at the moment. Our case is really fucking shady. Wait a second. Rangers must report after the patrol. Mr. Roger must have said to the chief ranger he scoured the city. Well then, let's call the department if everyone is okay with that. Or are you scared? Scared? What are you talking about? If he didn't report, all his reputation will be shattered in a nanosecond. But only if he didn't report. I bet Mr. Roger did it. You're a ranger. You have a code of honor to maintain. And I'm sure you've had no problem to inform me you're patrolling. And I imagine they already know you witnessed a murder during your guard. Or am I wrong? Mr. Roger has never been so silent. Afraid the testimony I built wasn't good enough. Looks like Mr. Roger is hiding something about the Ranger Department. Mr. Roger, do you have anything to say? Can we call the department? Mr. Roger? Are you gonna say something? This is unfair. He's hiding something, and this means he's not innocent. Stop waiting. Help your witness. What's this voice? Help your witness. How can I do that? No. In cases like these, it's not important how I do that. To answer back no matter what.
Objection!
Friend Attorney Whitney Cosmo, I cannot allow you to treat my witness like that. Continue to behave like that, you'll have to deal with me. I'll be happy to shut you up, Prosecutor. Miss Cosmo, what are you saying? I'm saying I'll be glad to argue my opinion on the matter with the prosecution, Your Honor. Thought for a second you forgot good manners, Miss Cosmo. So your intention is to start a counter-argument, is that right? Oh? A counter-argument? 1-versus-1 debate when I expose the defense's argument. Debate works like a cross-examinations. Press for more info and submit the evidence. Okay. So we're just backing our way into this. Prosecution accepts accepts the peaceful debate of the defense. This won't end well for you. Mr. Roger is clearly hiding something important, and it's my job to disclose it. I mean, she's right. Roger has stopped working. Where's the restart program button in situations like these? Miss Cosmo, you seem to have an objection about the witness's testimony. Would you explain? Roger? Got it. Right. Oh, got the screen briefly there. As you can notice, Mr. Roger doesn't feel comfortable with my questioning. Alright. Doesn't feel comfortable because you're treating him like a condemned. A perfect witness with a capital W, but shouldn't worry about that. His expression says everything. Doesn't know what to say because he's afraid. Doing to deny his sudden silence doesn't seem suspect. His silence is weird, but doesn't mean he's hiding something. Maybe it does? If you really believe he's suspicious, then explain why. Exactly what I'm going to do now. The Ranger doesn't guard the city without an official approval. Firstly, who says he doesn't have official approval? Secondly, how do you know you need an official approval? Let's say I do my homework. Though she already studied the hypothesis Mr. Roger was involved somehow. Must concede Miss Cosmo is a good planner. Why would he send his report to the Ranger Department? Because he works for them? That's his job? He'd help his businessmen learn how their employees are working. Employees receive periodically some documents to sign in. Employees periodically have to report in. Documents prove that they're doing their work. It's common for every kind of job. You sign a document to attend in this trial, too. Without that document, no one could say you're here. The same thing can be applied to Mr. Roger. At the end of the day, he had to inform him that he accomplished his job, just like everyone. Above all, in these circumstances, when a murder occurred. Mr. Roger called the police, do you remember? So why wouldn't he inform his department, too? I believe I know why. Perhaps Mr. Roger was in a place where he shouldn't have been.
Objection!
It doesn't have any sense. This doesn't make any sense. The police would have investigated the witness's involvement with the case. Anyway or another, the Ranger Department would have found out. I agree with you, Prosecutor. It's exactly as you said. If the circumstances were normal. Normal circumstances. This isn't something I wanted to pull in, but apparently I'm forced to do so. Let's say there's a motive if the department still doesn't know anything about the murder. My suggestion is to ask if a certain someone about this matter. What is she saying? Who should I call? Someone involved in the investigation. I think she's referring to a certain someone involved in this matter. Please don't make it the defendant.
Take that!
Oh, it's Pascal. Do you mean Detective Pascal? I think you've noticed the case is still going on despite the evident issues with the proceedings. And if you want to know why I have some doubts about Mr. Roger, I suggest to call him. Your Honor, what do you think? I'd like to suspend the debate and call the detective to the stand. Are we finally turning around here? So warning to both of you, I accept to call him, but I expect to see new clues for the case. So Ivan, you're kind of useless. You just didn't say anything useful and then clammed up, like a suspicious fool. Detective Pascal, do you have anything to say? No. No. What are you doing? Ah, haven't you finished yet? No, I actually wanted to ask you if you went to inform the Ranger Department about. Get back here. Stop fading away. No comment. Detective, I don't get your attitude, but whatever it is you're doing, it won't benefit the trial. And has your help brought any benefit?
Objection!
The prosecutor is carrying all of your mistakes, yet he's still facing this trial, unlike you. That's why we're here, don't you think? I gave you 1 minute. What do you want from me? Let's start with asking you to stop acting like a child. You're in trial, you should act like a proper detective. You're really something. I asked you to help me, and now you're accusing me. Who the hell hired you as prosecutor? Couldn't you be a sweeper?
Objection!
What the fuck is a sweeper? Now this insult will be taken seriously after the trial. Zero, open your eyes. Whitney is brainwashing you. I don't even know why I'm here. I'm sorry, detective, but that's not true. You're acting weirder than usual, and it's clear to anyone here. Okay, yeah. There's weird points about this case on both sides, but the majority of the weird shit piles up on our side. Shit that we're being handed and forced to play. Here, not knowing what the fucking crime scene is. Shady shit. Weirder than usual, it's clear to anyone here. To turn into a tempestuous person after I talked with a witness in the hall. Ah. By the way, are you ready for the questioning? Questioning? Ah, you mean my direct examination. I've never performed one. I have an idea of what to say, but not of how to do it. And move your butt to find out. You don't have much time left, eh? I started this trial with no idea what happened, and I still don't get what's going on. You'd be surprised if I had to find out the defendant is innocent at some point. Don't even say it as a joke. The evidence I provided you can beat the defense. Sure, except your own evidence didn't help me at all. There must be a motive behind your actions. Never thought it's my business. You know when you have one of these... days? Here, and this is one of those. I don't want to argue your mood, of what you did for this trial. I'm afraid to ask, but what are you talking about? You see, prosecutor, you're new here, so I imagine you still don't understand the situation. That's for sure. On one hand, it's understandable, but... on the other hand, I expected you were prepared to face our beloved Detective Pascal. Excuse my French, but the IPF literally kicked me into this country with no preparation at all. So now you know whose fault this is. But wait, beloved Detective Pascal? I don't understand. You know what? I leave this to the detective himself. Detective? You're a witch. I appreciate you use the W word like a real gentleman. Unfortunately, I don't like magic. Damn. Zero. And you too, Your Honor. The thing is, the police couldn't do anything for this case. We only collected the evidence, but that's it. This is more or less how it works. That's why that witch investigated for herself. After he disappeared, we didn't know how to handle this case. Wonder how far we'll go without him. I don't understand. So, just to establish, did you go to talk about the murder to the head ranger or not? No. If they don't know the witnesses involved with the murder. And this means Mr. Roger is trying to hide something from everyone. Which also makes it even more suspicious. I imagine you understand the direction this trial is taking, right? Yes, Mr. Judge. It's true. I was in the city, and usually a ranger doesn't work in the city. Because that night I wasn't working. Ah. So what were you doing? A walk? Because I wouldn't believe you. Why, couldn't it be? Given your position, lying is the least convenient thing. Mr. Prosecutor, can you help me? You dug yourself into this hole, boy. Help in what? Aren't you the perfect witness? I thought you could handle this. Mr. Roger, I remind you that you took an oath. Yeah, the oath. I guess I have no other choice. You asked for your truth, and I'll give it to you. The real reason why I was there is because I had a delivery. This is not what you said before, so you lied to the court. I don't think so. This delivery had nothing to do with the trial. Nothing to do? I think this is extremely important. Prosecutor, you may start with the questioning. Zero.
Objection!
Prosecutor, did you listen to what he just said? Huh. What do you want now? I want you to start your questioning. Hey you, now listen to me. The role I have, I shouldn't say it, but it doesn't matter now. You'll deal with that issue later. Don't think about it. I had to expose the police's crummy investigation, and yeah, I had my reasons to do that. If you're here, it's because they need you. Stop playing with your headphones and start your questioning. I would have guessed a stranger like you could console me during a trial. But you're right. Now that I'm here, I have my duty. It's no time to overthink. However, at the end of the trial, Detective Pascal won't get away from me. Ryan's monologue was incredibly motivating. Almost motivating. I still don't have any idea of the questions for my examination. You know, he wasn't working, but doing a sort of commission for someone. You could start from that point. Alright, let's do something. You said you had a delivery, right? Sort of. Could you explain what it was? I had to deliver a certain something to someone. Could you be more specific? Can't say. There's a term of privacy for customers. Mr. Roger, don't tell me. What? No, I don't deliver such things. We are talking about the same thing, right? I understand you want to keep this secret for your client. For your sake, I'd suggest you talk about this commission. But why you force me to answer questions that could worsen the situation? Because I have no alternatives. Okay, let's forget about the content. You tell us what happened next. I was waiting for my client close to the scene of the crime. That's why I noticed two people, the victim and the defendant. Then the murder happened, and I called the police. You're being very vague. Okay, so I could ask about his customer, the victim, and the defendant. I can't ask some of these questions because I don't have the information needed. Better start with simple questions before I get into the more complicated ones. Did you know the victim? We'll start with that. What could you say of the victim? What was his name? Kenny, right? Not much, actually. If only I was there earlier. Something doesn't add up. What? Mr. Roger? How do you know the victim's name? What do you mean? No one ever mentioned his name since you showed up in court. So you couldn't know his name was Kenny. Well, you know how it is. I don't. Don't make things harsh for me, please. Understand. Excuse me, but weren't you the perfect witness with the capital W? Maybe he has eavesdropped and picked up his name from someone. Yes, it's just like Mr. Judd said. I heard it from the bailiff, now that I think about it. Of course, it's always our fault, huh? The excuse is old. Go and find a new one. This is what happens when someone grasps at straws. Think of it. I don't think I've ever mentioned the victim's name to Mr. Roger. Another one we were in the prosecutor's hall. Perhaps he heard it during the investigation. I think this information might be important. Could give a shot with another question. This question seems really important for the witness. To know the whole story, I need to start from somewhere. I think the first question I can ask him about the defendant. The more details I have, the more I can show to the court that he was not involved. So I think, to progress, we have to present Kenny as Roger's client. Well, that's probably the... Oh, we get a penalty for presenting Al. Mr. Roger, I'd like to ask a question if I may. Sure, ask me anything. What do you mean by anything? You know, anything you want. Don't you have any questions? Now that I look better, I don't think I have the right questions. Sorry. You know where to find me. I'll stay here, in the perfect witness stand. What? But why? My gavel is so perfect with the capital P. It penalized you in a second for perfect reasons. This is pure injustice, as well as being a discrimination for whoever is as perfect as him. Don't forget to show the evidence of the profile which fits most with the question. Thanks to this guide, I should be able to make the perfect question. Oh, they infected me with this perfection thing. Ah, yes. Let's try Kenny. Mr. Roger, was Mr. Kenny Staunton your customer? What? Ah! Why'd you scream? I did? Oh, sorry. I mean, You have a terrible poker face. Terrible poker face. Where's his ace in the sleeve? It's getting worse than I expected. Mr. Roger, I believe in you. If you don't tell us what you know, on what should I base my trust? You're right, Mr. Prosecutor. I'm going to explain to you why I was there. The reason why I was close to the crime scene was because I was waiting for him. About this delivery. Somehow related to the crime or not? Not at all. Can't tell you the content, I'm sorry. Thank you for saying the truth, Mr. Roger. Any opinions of what happened to the victim? Pity, really. I don't get how, what, and why it happened. I didn't know Mr. Staunton much, but he's always heartbreaking to see someone die. Who knows if we'll really come to a day when all these things will cease to exist. All right, defendant. You speak of the defendant. What did you notice of him when you were on the crime scene? When I saw him, he was lying down. I didn't pay much attention to him. Also, I haven't seen his face. Wait, then why did you say you recognized him? I know because of the color of his jacket. His was yellow. Ah, yes, right. Well, the defendant kept that jacket until now, right? What else do you remember? Nothing else, sorry. I know I'm not acting like a perfect witness. I'm sorry. Let's face the truth. You've never been perfect. You were also late for the trial. Well, Your Honor, I've concluded my questioning. Miss Cosmo, you may start your cross-examination. Thank you, Your Honor. Calm before the storm. Miss Cosmo seems to know well her next move. I like this direct examination stuff. It has its own means of plot advancement. One way or another. The delivery. Let's talk a bit of the victim, Mr. Staunton. How did you meet him? Meet? I've never met him before. This commission, it's not illegal, right? No, not at all. The prosecution asked the same question earlier. I don't see why it's important. Well, it's on the record now. So she's gonna push it and pry at it. It's important, Your Honor. Did you forget you said it yourself? The hub which connects these two people is the content of that commission. My bet is he's somehow involved with the crime. What? During the questioning, the prosecution asked what he thought of the victim. Mr. Rogers said the following. I didn't know Mr. Staunton so much, but it's always heartbreaking to see someone die. Exactly. The witness said he saw the victim die during the murder. That's not what he said earlier. Mr. Roger, is it true? His silence is worth more than his words. If he never saw the murder, he saw the murder, and he's also saw the third person at the crime scene. Oh, here we go. He also said this person right away as he was on the crime scene. How could you explain this contradiction? It's simple, prosecutor. Because Mr. Roger knows this third person. As a result, he lied to the court. Ah! I hope you have evidence to support that. No, I don't. Aha! You don't have evidence. I'm not done talking. Oh boy. I don't have evidence because it doesn't exist anymore. There's a missing piece of evidence which could connect the third person to the witness. How do you know there was this piece of evidence? What? Did you forget already? You should know it better. Should I know? Do you remember the missing piece of evidence? Talked about it before. Bullet, syringe, fingerprints. Nope. We talked about a missing bullet? Oh, from that penalty I took, the, fucking penalty meter is still flashing. So I legitimately didn't know if I had the right answer in any of these. Read the morphine. I think you mentioned someone might have used a syringe. I don't think such an object can be evaporated to nothingness. Police would have found it eventually. The police wouldn't have found it eventually. Who could say this syringe exists in the first place? According to my client's analysis, they found traces of morphine. This analgesic in his body. The only way to inject it into someone is via syringe. I see. So you think someone used this during the crime? Why did this third party bring this syringe with him? I really have no clue. The idea of using a syringe in such context is unusual. What does this have to do with Mr. Roger? Considering his testimony is full of lies, his involvement on the scene of the crime isn't as superficial as we think. Mr. Roger, I can tell you what you had to deliver to Mr. Staunton. Cosmetic and morphine isn't a normal drug. That was the content of your commission. Is that true, Mr. Roger? Or should I call him Mr. I did it? I'm sorry, that's not... That line just shaved 10 years off my life. I am on my deathbed now. Miss Cosmo, Are you accusing the witness of the murder of Kenny Staunton? Yes, Your Honor. He's our culprit. Fateful moment has come. It's time to act, and immediately.
Objection!
Defense! You know you made a serious accusation towards this witness. Yes, that's why I did it. You're right, but I believe he's the culprit, and I have the evidence to support it. I see you're against my thoughts, so I say, and do you want a peaceful debate like before? Sure I do, a peaceful debate, precisely. Right, prosecutor, let me explain civilly why I'm right and you're wrong. Here we go. Oh boy. Mr. Roger had to deliver morphine to the victim, Mr. Staunton. How could you say so? Mr. Roger confirmed he didn't deliver such things in my questioning. But in that case, wouldn't the police or whoever investigated have found the syringe in a pocket? Maybe Mr. Staunton died before he received the morphine from the witness. Mr. Roger used it against my client, and left with it, which would make sense. They decided to meet in the city at 11 p.m. In addition to the witness and the victim, there was also the defendant at the crime scene. They planned a meeting. Why was he there? According to my client's testimony, he was taking a walk, so it's just a coincidence. Then we know what happened. Yes, I have the feeling Mr. Necken is an important element. I don't think he was there by accident. Mr. Roger planned to kill him, that's why he used the murder weapon. So the pistol, whose is it? Mr. Rogers, of course. Whom else? Obtaining a pistol must have its complication if you don't work as a policeman or a ranger. But if there's a will, there's a way. Maybe Mr. Necken might get one. You say he had it in mind to kill him, so you say it's premeditated. Of course he has a motive, we still don't know. The fact remains he's the only one who could kill him. Then he used morphine against my client, causing him to fall asleep. Using a drug like that to make someone fall asleep. Isn't it too strange in a crime scene? I'm not saying it's impossible, but strange. Moreover, I don't think it's easy to inject something like that with a syringe. Can't deny it's unusual, yet it's possible. That's what the defense believes. Don't forget Mr. Roger is a ranger. He has to deal with medicine like this quite often. After Mr. Roger made him sleep, he acted as witness and called the police. If the witness was the culprit, he wouldn't have called the police. He would have left and ran away like nothing had happened. He said Mr. Roger presented himself in court. Why would he do that if he's the criminal? I believe that he was forced to, because of something or someone. He's covering up important clues with his testimony. That's why I find Mr. Roger the only one who could have killed Mr. Staunton. Miss Cosmo planned everything for this moment, and she's well prepared. Once I noticed her argument is based only on the syringe and that morphine. Reasoning doesn't work at all. I don't see real evidence on the table. I have to carefully think for a second about what Mr. Roger said in his testimony. Find a piece of evidence to use in this debate. Let's think here. I think Mr. Necken's testimony kinda is the contradiction here? Which makes sense as a logical something that would actually counter her argument, which is pretty strong.
Objection.
No, okay. Oh, the prosecution believes what the defense says in contrast with this evidence. Shit. Contrast with what evidence? My evidence is this one. The evidence. You don't have evidence, do you? What if I forget to read what I have in my court record before I present something? Morphine, it's morphine in the body, dose controlled. Does that mean that there's no way that someone untrained did this? To him, maybe?
Objection.
Okay, that's it. My reasoning stands on that syringe. You say the witness is covering up the truth with his testimony. What if you are covering it up?
Objection!
Are you accusing me of homicide? No. But your argument avoids some important aspects of the murder in question. A simple and important aspect to take into account is... Why was the meeting at 11 p.m.? What's Roger's motive? Did Stanton want morphine? The third one seems interesting. Why did the victim need that analgesic? I don't have enough evidence to prove it. This is where you're wrong, Miss Cosmo. I asked the court to give a check to Mr. Necken's analysis. You must figure out if there exists a link between the morphine found in the defendant's body. The morphine Mr. Roger wanted to deliver to the victim. According to the defense. But we know Mr. Roger injected morphine into my client's body. But that's just a theory without evidence. Allow me to explain why. Let's read this document from top to bottom. You need to press on the check button to see all 3 pages of the document. Or the document showed the witness couldn't have used morphine. General health status? Possibly. Please look at this part of the document. About his general health status. Hold on for a second. There's so many details. What are you looking for? What are you looking at exactly? Clearly where it talks about the morphine. Presence of morphine in the body. Dose controlled. The effect had not vanished. What makes this part so offbeat? About what you read, nothing is offbeat. What bugged me is that these details are written in the general health status report. Not as smart as you. Could you explain more? Everything lies on how the document is structured. Please, have a look. You can see it's divided into 2 main sectors, general health status and crime scene request. Mr. Roger had injected something into the defendant, as you say. And the morphine examination should be in the crime scene request sector. Huh? It's true, it is? I also noticed this category is under special request. Whoever asked for this request also wanted to know all the details. Is that so? Maybe I know who that might be. Your Honor, you see my point now, don't you? Morphine is not listed in the category crime scene request. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? No one used any kind of syringe at the crime scene. The defense got it wrong. What? Why are you laughing? Shut up, boy. Finally, started laughing again. Just the beginning. Let's hear what the prosecutor has to say. As I was saying. Likewise, this means Mr. Roger didn't deliver drugs of any kind to anyone, neither the victim. All the suspects Miss Cosmo has do not have any basis.
Objection!
How can you explain the morphine on my client? Did you read the document or not? Under the category about morphine, the document says the dose is controlled. Someone periodically checks that he's injected morphine, and this person must be the treating medic. The treating medic. Exactly. The victim, Mr. Staunton. In the defendant's testimony, he said the victim cured him of his illness. So the only one who could have injected something on Mr. Neckin's body was Mr. Staunton himself. To make it clear for the last time, there was no syringe in the crime scene. Mr. Roger didn't kill the victim, and didn't have any reason to do that.
Objection!
However, the victim and the witness had to meet up. He must be involved somehow. Maybe, but do you have any more evidence to submit? Afraid her theory couldn't have worked in any ways due to her lack of real evidence. It's clear the witness is innocent. Good job, Mr. Prosecutor. Everything went according to my plan. What? 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 Aren't you happy? You explain why I'm innocent. Thanks to my ace in the sleeve. Your ace. Yep. Better be crafty in moments like these. I did it in my defense, of course. It's not easy pretending to be a suspect. What? Pretending. Hey, just saying. I know I'm innocent, but you guys wanted to fight for your truths. So I thought, what if I pretend to be that classic liar witness we love to hear? We all love and hate. And thanks to that, let's say it motivated Mr. Prosecutor to do his job all right. You pretended. Yeah. Like the fact I was later saying some weird stuff about my job. Worry not, because I just pretended to lie. Can't really say I saved this trial.
Objection!
Objection. Nani the fuck? I'm confused. What's going on here? Are you really asking me this, Mr. Prosecutor? If it wasn't for my tardiness, you wouldn't have received any new pieces of evidence, right? Like, for example, the defendant's analysis, and the right-handed fingerprints on the gun. Why'd you plan to come here so late? Real question is, why did you have to wait all this time to get new evidence? Why was your time influenced by someone else? What? Now, the police's delay isn't your matter. I don't know why you know these things. I see, the prosecutor is closed-minded like the others. Then I'll explain it once and for all. In this world, nobody cares about you. You're on your own. That's why I'm a ranger. Without my help, you would have lost this trial. I do what the others don't. This is getting weirder and weirder. What's with this sudden change in attitude? Yeah, it is. Being a ranger doesn't mean just sacrificing for the others. It means doing it with the right intentions. Tensions no one has in this world. This is why we'll continue this trial, and I'll give you my complete trust. I swear it. You can ask any questions you want, and I'll say the truth. Oh. So let me clarify. The presence in court comes from this plan you had for defending yourself. The perfect witness was a part of the plan. Let's be realistic. The title was grating on the nerves. It was necessary for the trial itself. The trial? What are you saying? The plan was to create a character with weaknesses. A character that could give the impression of being suspicious. Its objective was to arise specific thoughts for each of you, depending on your roles. What the fuck are you talking about? What thoughts would have pushed you to act in some way? For instance, Mr. Prosecutor, did you ever think I was a possible culprit during the trial? Did you ever think of this? But we can answer the question. Cannot say no. As I thought, I imagined because of my delay in court, along with how I built my character. I had some doubts when you talked of that delivery. When the defense accused you for using morphine, I immediately thought that was impossible. To reach that conclusion, it's only because of Ivan Roger. You're welcome. Glad to help you. You're an odd boy, but I see your point. I wanted to make sure we think you're innocent.
Objection!
This friend doesn't make sense. What about your nonsense? I didn't get a word of what you said. You're trying to confuse us. Pretended to react in a certain way so that the prosecution could be motivated to show I'm innocent. Defendant's analysis explains only the victim could have administered certified drugs. I couldn't have done it. I don't know the defendant. Neither about how much morphine he needs. Okay, that's the answer I was expecting, not that fucking drivel about it's under the wrong department of the report, therefore you're wrong. This is what I was expecting as the counter-argument. If you get it or not, let the prosecution show the evidence which proves it. But his attitude is bizarre. It's like he has two personalities. Except for this unnecessary explanation that the prosecution demonstrated he's innocent. Which means only the defendant could have killed him.
Objection!
The defense believes something is still missing. Miss Cosmo probably didn't expect I would have overcome her objections until now. I can't say I'm not surprised myself. What else can she object to? Please give me a single reason I should continue this trial. Mr. Rogers said he would have answered all the questions. Due to the new implications, the defense asks for a new cross-examination of what he saw. Sustained, but for the last time, Miss Cosmo. It's getting too much to handle for everyone. I get the point. Thank you for your opportunity. Mr. Roger, you promised you would say all the truth. Then start talking. What actually happened at the crime scene? I was in the city because why not? No, I was not working. The victim approached me asking for a favor. You never had any contact until that moment? Exactly. Which means I had no reason to kill him. Why did you accept to help him? Did you know each other? Did because he said he needed help. That's it. And no, I didn't know him. Didn't feel like saying no. I know we said it, but I want to be absolutely sure. It wasn't anything illegal, was it? Repeating questions is useless. No, rest assured. The favor was simple and harmless. Then tell us, what was this favor? Can't say it. Why not? The victim died. Why do you have to keep everything so fucking confidential? I didn't say that. Eh? I wanted your truth, so I said it earlier. Now it's different. Real truth is that there is no confidence between me and the victim. What the? Why did you say anything until now? Time brought you up to this point in the trial. Time is essential. Time is what gives value. Think the last two evidence you received. You can see nothing was in vain. Understand why you still don't get it. So it should be a problem to say this favor if it's not a secret. No. Mr. Roger, don't play dumb with the law. Don't tolerate such attitude. You can't give orders. But if I want, I can use my right to stay silent, right? But I won't, because I really, really want to help you all. Listen carefully. If you want to know more about the favor, just ask the right questions to me. Think for a second. You'll eventually figure it out. It's all part of the plan, of course. In short, we're under his rules. The defense doesn't have any choices, unfortunately. Wow, thank goodness he wants to help us. I can sense a lack of coherence in his words. We have a lot of suspicious characters out to help us. That's weird. What happened after? Delivering whatever I had to deliver. I was going to leave the area, but I thought you weren't... Oh, you were delivering. What? You weren't working. You were there because why not? What the what is the delivery shit now? Is that real or not? Did the victim ask you to deliver a thing, and that's the delivery we're talking about here? Suddenly I heard a shot coming close to where I left the victim. Immediately came back to where I was, and then found the victim lying on the ground. The defendant instead was still standing. As he saw me, he fell to the ground too.
Objection!
You can say you're not lying right now, eh? The defendant mentioned a boy with a black jacket in his previous testimony. Yeah. There, that was me. Except for the nonsense he probably said for defending himself. Anyway, I checked both victim and defendant. Then I called the police. Call the police even if you feel rancorous towards them. This is how the system works. Police actively works with the prosecution. They conduct judicial investigations and decide to collaborate as witness at the incident rather as ranger. You're welcome. Glad to help you. What did that accomplish? So, satisfied. Testimony is clear like number 4, and finally we know what happened. We still don't know what happened. It won't tell us about the fucking conversation with the fucking victim. You'd think we could fucking compel that out of him. That's why I'm in court today. However, your strategic plan led you to lie and waste our time. Therefore, there are some measures we have to take. That's it, you're free to go home. I'm very, very sorry, Miss Attorney. You're a cool stand-up girl, but I fight the criminals, you know. And my top priority is the truth. Wish you all the best. Bye-bye.
Objection!
Did you forget about me? I want to ask questions, too. What a surprising objection from you, Prosecutor. Isn't anything clear enough? Isn't it clear enough? I'm sorry to break the moment, but I think there are still some questions unanswered. Our top priority is the truth, Would we give it a try? For the sake of truth, Mr. Roger? Exactly, the truth. All the questions you want. Good idea, but I need my direct examination. Defense's questioning inspired me. My goal, to understand what he did to Mr. Stunson before he died. what he did to Mr. Stonson. Oh lordy. Give his testimony is the delivery or the favor. Whatever he did to the victim. Okay, let's pretend I'm Mr. Stonson. What kind of favor would I ask for a stranger? I don't think I'd ask for a syringe. That'd be weird. Maybe something related to the crime. Just a piece of evidence that could help me out. Start with a favor from someone. Accepted to help Mr. Stonson. What did he ask you to do? You can't say, or I'd reveal what I did. You have to figure it out. Putting me in an awkward position. Are you sure you're not hiding something for your sake? No. Oh, you'll find out eventually. It's all part of my plan. So follow the rules. Ah, yes. Telling you this plan is part of this plan is part of the plan. Yes, of course. If he's afraid to say it because he would find his hands and feet tied. There's something incriminating related to him. His belongings, perhaps. Do you know why he needed this favor from you? No, he just asked. Since I'm a good ranger, I helped him. Good ranger? Did he recognize you as a ranger? Yeah, I was taking a walk. But I had the jacket with the logo. Though no doubt he noticed I was part of law enforcement. It's not an important clue, but it's something. Let's see what else I might ask. Okay, what is this favor? Mr. Roger, is this pistol yours? For asking me. No, I didn't use it against the victim. I believe in you, but can you prove it to the court? How can you prove this weapon is mine, instead? You suspect your witness. Not a smart move. No, that's not my intention. Really. The pistol must belong to someone, however. Now that I think about it. It's a pistol. Belongs to Roger, no clear fingerprints, was already on the crime scene. I almost hit F5 to save like I was playing in Pyrite. I think it was already on the crime scene. Yeah, it was already on the crime scene. Just before finishing the first session, we did an experiment with some objects. Thanks to this experiment, we added new testimony from the defendant. He claimed the culprit picked up the pistol from the ground. The murder weapon was already on the crime scene before Mr. Roger came back. Who placed the weapon at the crime scene? The defendant? I don't think so. Mr. Neckin kept his right glove on his hand until now. The pistol has a right hand fingerprint on it. I would rule out this possibility. At this point, the only logical conclusion is that the weapon belongs to the victim. The victim? There is a problem. The weapon was on the ground, and this means the victim must have extracted it before. Probably had it on his jacket, maybe in a pocket.
Objection!
Now you're saying the victim wanted to kill my client. I cannot answer this question, but he could have pulled it out for self-defense. After all, this autopsy report says he was strangled by someone. I don't know if civilians can keep weapons in this city, but it seems like a possible reason.
Objection!
No, he couldn't. Shit. Ahem. want to affirm the weapon was extracted after the murder, but the victim died before. You said it yourself during the game. So how could he pick up that weapon when he's dead? He's right. He couldn't have taken the weapon out at all alone, or could he? I think there's an alternative. The pistol might not have been extracted from the victim, but could have fallen from his pocket, I guess. Dropped from his jacket at some point, okay. The defendant noticed something fall on the ground. He picked it up and used it against the victim.
Objection!
And that's how it happened. Do you believe in magic? Or maybe in fate? I don't think it's magic, fate, or coincidence. However, maybe it fell by moving the jacket. In regards to this, if you have a piece of evidence which might explain how it happened.
Take that!
Okay, crime summary. The detective's testimony states the victim had a fight of some kind against the defendant. The report also confirms this theory. The victim has been strangled, in fact. Mr. Necken confirms he had injuries on his arms. You put one and one together, you deduce that the pistol may have dropped while they were fighting. Your argument is interesting as always, Professor. But how did he get a weapon like this? I'm afraid it's a question I can't answer for now. Though, now that I think about it, I don't see a medic wielding a weapon like that. It doesn't belong to him, and neither did Mr. Nelson either. Necken either. Oh shit, gotta figure out what the favor is. Where'd the gun come from, then? That's the question we gotta answer. And there's a pretty obvious answer. And this weirds me out, this guy. His attitude is just weird. I guess if they took the time to like give us a little more background on the Rangers, I think maybe the change in attitude would have been like, oh, okay. They're a bunch of really serious, hardcore dudes who would do shit like this. Don't get me wrong, I actually kind of like this change in character. Since his first perfect witness shtick felt really flimsy. And it's obviously intentionally flimsy. And now this whole leading you to the answer thing is strange. We'll see where that goes. Next time, now that Ace Prosecutor Zero is back to be finished.